Good afternoon.
Hi, Richard.
Got a nice, small, intimate group. Anyway, it's hot out today. Hope you guys are trying to keep cool, drinking some water, keep yourself hydrated. I don't think I can remember a time when it's been this hot so early in the year. You know, it's just the way it is. We'll miss this time come February and January. Yeah. Well, welcome to the fellowship. All those here and watching virtually, thank you for attending. At the fellowship, we recognize all encounters as holy, and we know that our time together is by divine appointment. So to open our service, please stand and we'll sing Prayer of the Children of Love. You'll find that on the front cover of your songbook.
We are small but mighty children of love. Father, Mother, God, your kingdom come, your holy will be wholly done. Spirit, source of love, your children sing, flow through us now in everything, every day, in every way. Our prayer is live everywhere. Let love be there, and so it is. Father, Mother, God, your kingdom come, your holy will be wholly done. Spirit, source of love, your children sing, flow through us now in everything. Father, Mother, God, your children pray, be love in us in every way.
Thank you. As you probably have noticed, that Mary and Julie and Samantha are not here today. And I'm your substitute. So it's glad to be here, and we'll try to make the most of it. Before we do our opening meditation, I want to draw your attention to the packet that was on your chair. Along with the bulletin for today's service, you'll find an envelope for your financial gift and a connection card. And please fill this out so if you've had a change in address, or if you're new and you'd like some new information about the fellowship, and be on your emailing list. On the back of the card, please take a moment to list anyone that you would like to remember in prayer during today's service and add to our fellowship prayer connection list. Then just put the card in the basket when it comes around during the collection, and we'll have a special time of prayer for those mentioned later in the service. So let's do a little meditation together. Just your feet are flat on the floor, your back is erect. You want to close your eyes. Let's do 3 fellowship ahs together. Inhale. Again. Inhale. Inhale. This is a time for you. Time to clear your mind, free of the clutter of day-to-day living. All thoughts we can drop away, concerns about the future, thoughts about the past. Just to be present in your heart space right now. Experience the silence as a gift. A place where we can go for refuge. In quietness, all things are answered. The space is holy, and it's available to us anytime we want. A place of calmness and peace. We don't have to think. Don't have to worry or concern ourselves with anything. We send gratitude to our body and our mind for the gifts that it brings us to be able to be here today. We say thank you to every cell, fiber, nerve, tissue in our bodies that works diligently without complaint to support us in this journey of awareness. We thank them for the gifts that they bring us. And as we breathe in peace, we exhale forgiveness. To all things, all harms, real or perceived. We release any pain or anguish. And to experience just the peace of our mind. This is the space where we can go to find wholeness, healing, and love. Just spend a few seconds in this space without any agenda. Just to breathe. And if a worrisome thought crosses your mind, just focus on your breathing. And you'll notice that your thoughts are like clouds. They come and they go. And we can watch them. But we don't have to let them control our life. Peace to you all. Let's return to the room. Marianne. asked me to give a brief reading, and I really didn't have much to say other than I wanted to build on a little something that we were talking last week about the creative process, and that our lives are a creative process, wherever we are. We have created this. The only question is, whatever you created, is it worthy of you? And if it is not, know that we can change it. It's simply desiring to do so. So, let's start with our first song, special music, and Corey is going to introduce a song for us. Okay. Let's give him a warm hand.
Thank you, Richard. Our dear friend Julie Cribley is going to share some of her wise and delightful words about healing in a bit. So here's a song about that, of 1,000 Little Things. It comes no surprise to me. Again, I am my own worst enemy. Another subtle self-sabotage. Another hypocritical barrage from the cruel but oh so usual entourage. Why do I let it begin? And why do I do it again? And why do I always give in? Every day, in so many ways, I forget it's happening. Every day, I give myself away to 1,000 little things. 1,000 little things. 1,000 tiny jabs of stress together made one giant bloody mess. I've tried to keep it all here inside. I've tried to make the whole thing hush and hide in a ritual of chronic suicide. How can I make this all end? And how can I be whole again? And how can I help myself mend all these parts, so many scars, all these secret sufferings? Release each part, reclaim my heart from 1,000 little things. 1,000 little things. In the silence of my soul, when I let go of control, I can finally start to see 1,000 little truths in me. Every cut and every scar, I see them now for what they are. The opportunities they give, the open doors to truly live. And now I can see that each wound is now where the love can flow through. And now I can see that it's true. day, in so many ways, there is healing happening. Every day, I'm being saved by 1,000 little things.
Thank you, Corey. That was just beautiful. So we're going to do a fellowship song, and stand if you're able. And we are on page 48, When I Am Healed. And afterwards, please stay standing, and you can greet your neighbors however you feel fit. Page 48.
How cool is that?
That's right. You never know. Oh, it's over here. Hey. Well, thank goodness, I'm always having fun. Not today.
No, not today. You never know.
They're going to be next.
Where's the
Looking forward to your message.
Well, thank you, Corey. Thank you, Chief.
I got a script for Mary, and in case some of you don't know, Mary and Julie are supporting Samantha, who is receiving an award today from, I think, the Peace Coalition for recognition. And last I'd heard that they plan to be here later in the service, so we'll keep our fingers crossed that they can attend. So I would like to introduce our speaker for today. Reverend Julie Cribley is going to be with us, and she has a wonderful message about healing. Can we give her a warm welcome?
Well, I appreciate everyone coming out today on this very hot day. And actually, how I titled this was An Unhealed Path. I've been feeling as if the world is walking an unhealed path at the moment. Some among us, and many in leadership positions, don't seem to know who they are. Perhaps they came on this earth with a mission of awakening us to our true selves, but instead, they chose to come as dark angels, devoid of love and compassion. Their empty hearts do not know the pleasure of doing good and bringing happiness to others, or so it appears. How lonely must be where they live within. How lonely to only care of profit and greed. Often I think to myself, I wonder why decency and humanity do not seem to be living with them. They do not seem to be expressing those goodnesses. Are these lonely and greedy souls the shadow of our humanity? Are they our shadow? Are we one with the lost souls who have sold themselves to greed and profit? Perhaps we are one because we do breathe the same air. We live on the same planet together. But for sure, we're not the same based on the values that guide our lives. And yet, have we truly healed our own paths on this earth? The great paradox of personhood seems to be that the sum is simpler than its parts. We move through the world as a total sum, clothed in a costume of personality beneath which parts perpetually fight for the power, and yet they yearn for harmony. The person making the choices, the person bearing the consequences, and the person taking responsibility for them are rarely the same person. There is no pain like the pain of watching oneself overtaken by one's most shameful parts. The chaotic, the compulsive, the ungenerous, the needy, governed by fear and lack, splattering confusion and distress. To live with consciousness is to own all of the parts, but not be owned by any of them. To choose with clarity and composure which ones to act from. To love fully, oneself or another is to accept all of the parts and cherish the totality. One of the hardest things to learn in life is that the heart is a clock. It beats too fast not to break. We lurch into loving only to discover again and again that it takes a really long time to know people, to understand people, and yet understanding is love's other name. Even without intentional deception, people will surprise you. They may shock you or hurt you, but often not out of malice, but out of the incompleteness of their own self-knowledge, their own lack of healing, which continually leads them to surprise themselves. More often than not, when someone breaks a promise, it is not because they believe themselves to be that kind of person who could not keep it, and they simply found themselves at that moment to not be able to. If we live long enough and honestly enough, we will all find ourselves in that position at times. For in the lifelong project of understanding ourselves, we are all reluctant visitors to this desolate haunt of our own nature, where the shadows we do not want to meet dwell. But in any human association that has earned the right to use the word love, we must be in relationship with both the light and the shadow in ourselves and each other. All authentic relationships are therefore a matter of clear sight, of seeing through the shining pain of the other's self-concealment and removing the mirror of our own projections. Perhaps we should consider discovering how poorly we may actually know ourselves, for we are always divided between the conscious and the unconscious. Whenever we face the abyss between the two, we often are overcome with really uneasy feelings that are brought on by experiences where we feel the discrepancy between our view of ourselves and our own dark shadows. To heal means to make whole, and when we feel whole, we are in touch with the whole world. I'm asking you to not forget in the depths of the soul, we are each an old soul, able to survive the troubles of the world and contribute to its healing and renewal. The key to what we miss and secretly long for is hidden within us. When in touch with our own underlying soul, we are naturally in touch with nature and the soul of the world. We are the missing ingredient in the solutions needed for all that ails us, if we but awaken to the nature of our own loving souls. Owning, experiencing, truly feeling your joys, your pain, your story, and loving yourself through the process is the most difficult and bravest thing you can do. It is part of the mystery of life on earth that the human soul can awaken, grow greater, and reveal inner gifts when everything turns dark and seems about to fall apart. Soul does not fear a downturn or seek to avoid a period of darkness. Soul carries deeper wisdom and darker knowledge, born of descent and loss and renewal. Always renewal. Soul would have us go where we fear to go in order to learn who we are intended to be. Soul challenges us to face our fears, to discover, again, our true selves. This is our real adult work, asking everything of ourselves. And it will alter your world completely, but before that happens, you'll be met with rebirth, love, hope, darkness, raging tears, broken open hearts, warm, comforting light, a deep sense of connection with it all, and a real understanding of what you are here for. A slow dive, a conscientious descent into the depths of your own soul, the dark ground of your being and your dreams, the underworld of your psyche. This is vital work. No way around it to discover what you've tucked away in the shadows of your own psyche. If you're lucky, you will unearth what you had otherwise disowned for fear of how it will make you feel. And yet, these pieces of your otherwise whole psyche that you have disowned are what make you utterly you. Wildly alive, authentically so, you. And you are needed here. Your essential soul's power, what you were born with before you lost track of you, are to be found there in the excavation into your dark depths, awaiting for you to carry them home. With a fierce tenderness, knowing that all life, yours, your beloved's, and the earth is at stake. The world needs you to be fully alive, real. The world needs you to find and bring home and embody your soul's gifts and healing powers. It is messy work, and perhaps our real life's mission. Try to remember in the intensity of your feelings that give you such incredible insight into who you are and what you need to feel whole. It's that intensity that makes you deeply connected to yourself and the world around you. And it's your wounds that allow you to be empathetic and compassionate toward the wounds of others. Wounds that give you an awareness to recognize when people are hurting, and tools to offer support in ways that less sensitive people might not be able to do. I know that it's hard to believe in this moment when you may be feeling very incapacitated by our unhealed world. Don't let anyone, including yourself, convince you that the true privilege of this life is to not become whole, to gift this world with you in all of your glory and all of your messiness. Your soul is requiring you to heal deeper, to lift up over the despair, elevate past the hurt, to transcend past what has happened, to get the lesson, to forgive yourself, to love yourself unconditionally, all in order that we may heal our unhealed paths together. Everyone born is gifted, and everyone is wounded. It turns out that the deepest gifts are right next to the deepest wounds. If we take the idea of the rite of passage, when a person is going through the rite of passage, what is supposed to happen is a more conscientious awareness of the wounds and the gifts. Then the process would evolve healing of the wounds and awakening to the gifts and purpose of the person. So both things are supposed to happen simultaneously. And then each time there's a need for another rebirth, or another less than positive experience, or a crisis, we view it as part of our total awakening rather than a burden. Both things are supposed to happen again, for the road of meaning, purpose, and spiritual fulfillment is made by repeatedly opening the wounds and finding healing. And at the same time, becoming more conscious of the aims of one's life and of the gifts that were given to each of us and intended to be given to the world through us. Dear friends, please don't lose heart. The gaps between humans are temporary, and I know it hurts. Ignorance hurts us all. Please don't lose hope. Unkindness and the lack of compassion are not our natural state. How do you process what hurts inside? Well, I choose to work with adverse situations. I let them wake me up, not avoiding or distracting myself from what is the pain in my own heart and mind. Accepting this has taught me everything, including an increased sense of well-being and happiness. There is a Buddhist tenet of letting the painful and disturbing aspects of one's life be one's teachers. At the same time, being unconditionally friendly toward myself, to the feelings which outer circumstances bring up in me, the sorrow, the suffering, accepting the unacceptable. I try not to get caught up in my own story, but stay with the felt experience. Find where it's located in my physical body. I work to find deep acceptance of myself, beginning in my body and staying with it for short periods of time at first, till I understand that I am fundamentally good, complete, and whole, regardless of what's going on around me or the choices that the world seems to be making as they struggle during this unhealed path. No matter how dark, I stay with the present with the feelings. I comfort myself with touch, treating myself as a child that I'm not going to give up on. I need to be willing to do it even when I may be feeling really bad. So I'm encouraging everyone to try this. Perhaps we do just a little bit at first, moving closer to being able to accept, honor, and respect what it is to truly be human. Experience what you experience fully and completely. Ultimately, this leads to compassion and empathy for all others, including our leaders who may be making choices we don't understand. Melancholy, sadness, and despair are not sicknesses, and we do not need to apologize for feeling them. Have great patience with all the attempts at changing, for patience is respect bestowed on the present and a kindness to time. The radical move is to enter each day as a constant now, free from the claws of then, so you may take the open hand of the moment and fill it with pure being. We know that lasting happiness isn't attained through chasing material possessions, social media approval, or professional applause. We also know it goes beyond reminding ourselves to think positively all the time. At the deepest level, authentic happiness is achieved when you become clear about who you are, why you are here, and what sparks your soul. When we take the time to recognize when we are happy and what that feels like, it becomes easier to recreate. Those of us on the path of personal and spiritual growth have a tendency to analyze our unhappiness in order to find the causes and make improvements. But perhaps it's just as important, if not more so, to analyze our happiness. Since we have the ability to rise above and observe our emotions, we can recognize when we're feeling joyful and content. Then we can harness that power of that moment by savoring that feeling and taking the time to be grateful each and every time we feel happiness, true happiness. Recognition, of course, is the first step in creating change. Therefore, recognizing what it feels like to be happy is the first step towards sustaining this feeling in our lives. We can examine how joy feels in our bodies and what thoughts run through our minds in times of bliss. Without diminishing its power, we can retrace our path to discover what may have put us in this frame of mind, and then we can take note of the choices we made while we were there. We might realize that we are generally more giving and forgiving when there's a smile on our face, or that we are more likely to laugh off annoyances and the actions of others when they don't resonate with us. Once we know what it feels like, we can identify some of the triggers. We can recreate that happiness when we're feeling low. Knowing, of course, that like attracts like, we can pull ourselves out of the blue mood by focusing on joy. We might find that forcing ourselves to be giving and forgiving, even when it doesn't seem to come naturally, helps us to reconnect to all positive feelings. If we can identify a song, a picture, or a pet as a happiness trigger, we can use them as tools to recapture that bliss if we're having trouble finding it. By focusing our energy on analyzing happiness and all that it encompasses, we feed and nurture and attract more of it into our lives, eventually making a habit of happiness. If there's been any drawback to embarking on my healing journey, it's feeling very misunderstood by people who have chosen not to heal themselves. It does go both ways. I have trouble understanding people the same way they have trouble understanding me. I guess the selfish reason why I advocate so hard for everyone to take care of their mental health is that I'd like to feel less alone. I also know that when others around me are feeling happiness, it's easier for me to find mine. People who choose to lean into their brokenness instead of trying to heal, just can't understand the moves of a healing person. Here are some of the things that I've noticed in my own journey, which I suspect may be some of your experiences as well. An unhealed world truly resents when you've changed. And let's face it, you have. I'd be very worried about all of you if all this work we've been doing on ourselves wasn't resulting in change. An unhealed world misunderstands you. I want to say first that because unhealed people are not working on their own healing, they're actually prone to misunderstanding you, when they take your words and your actions and they misconstrue them. They turn them into something that you didn't say or mean. I think some grace is warranted here. But something that I can't help noticing is that unhealed people will deliberately twist, misconstrue, or misrepresent what you say. And as I was creating this talk, I thought of the times in my life this has happened. And it made me go, oh, that's what happened. They're not healed yet. They have not begun their healing journey. So of course, they did not hear my real message, my real words. And so I should let go of taking that personally. Your growth actually holds a mirror to their face, which reflects back to them their own lack of growth. I'm sure you can remember yourself before you began your healing and can relate. It just doesn't feel good to see someone becoming their highest self if you're stagnating. So the unhealed will sometimes try to make your good deeds look bad as a way to justify their own lack of growth. Unhealed people often have reasons for why you are healing, but they are not. They will do their best to minimize the work you've done. They don't have as much time as you do, or they have too many other things on their plate. Of course they would be working on themselves if their lives were as simple and easy as yours. But alas, they have so much more to do than you do. They're so quick to deny any sacrifices you have made in order to begin your healing journey, choosing instead to believe that if only they had your life, they could do it too. There is really no excuse for them to make no attempt at change. The fact, plain and simple, is that they just don't want to. All the more reason for us to heal, so the world will experience our healing and desire to have more. Unhealed people often point to your mistakes or shortcomings as evidence that you're not really growing. Unhealed people don't realize that growth is a circular process. You take steps forward and sometimes back. Hopefully your growth has allowed you to handle your missteps with honesty and compassion. You acknowledge your mistakes, but you don't beat yourself up about them anymore. You recognize that you are human who is healing, not healed, for it's a lifetime process. So grace is truly required. But the unhealed don't want to give the grace or compassion, so we need to learn how to do it for ourselves. Instead, when you make mistakes or you backpedal in your healing, they say, "Oh, I knew you weren't really actually doing any work." Or their personal favorite, "You're not as enlightened as you think you are." They would rather call you a sham than believe that you are a healing person who will sometimes falter along the way. Unhealed people often try to convince you that you are the problem. If they've done something that's caused you to set necessary boundaries, they will blame you for what they did, citing all the things about you that are sharp or hard to love. Your confidence and your growth frighten them, so they do whatever they can to steal it from you. Unhealed people will eventually try to harm your reputation. Instead of celebrating your happiness, they will attempt to hold you back, criticize, or sabotage it. It's important to understand that you can't change people who don't want to change, and you can't control their choices. So why am I sharing this with you if you can't do anything to change the way the unhealed world is treating you? I'm sharing it so that you'll know it when you see it, so that someone will have told you ahead of time. And if it does happen, you'll be ready. You'll be immune to any attempts at gaslighting you and likely to internalize the things said to you or about you. That's really all you can do. Let us together pull God's love out of the sky, where many have placed it, out of reach, into our very being, into everything we do. The world appears to have made it a hard commitment right now to see hate as ordinary, stripping the sacred from everywhere to put it in the cloud man elsewhere, prying closeness from our hearts. We never should have taken the dance and the song out of our prayers and made it sit straight and cross its legs, removed it of all rejoicing, its questions, its tears. We need to remember that God is the easiest thing in this universe available to every soul and every breath. My dear friends, I'd like to repeat, we can't lose hope. We can't lose heart. Because I know with every breath I take that the world will not be the same in the next 100 years. It will take time, but humanity will be one in truth and heart again. These borders will fall. Racism, division, and the authoritarianism will be things of the past that children will learn about in history books. Creatures will not have to worry about becoming extinct, and the oceans will be pristine once again. Our forests, our beloved trees, will not be cut anymore. They will be free to root deep and stay connected with each other, just like we will be. This is the world we together are creating along our healing paths. Let's not lose heart. Let's keep on loving each other, standing up for kindness and generosity, for social liberties and justice, for being worthy mirrors to each other. Let us not lose heart, for the world does not seem ready to begin its healing journey just yet. We will bring it along with us. Let us heal, because if we are healthy and loving beings, we can also love the world as she, our great mother, deserves to be loved. I'm making a home inside myself, a shelter of kindness where everything is forgiven, everything allowed, a quiet patch of sunlight to stretch out without hurry, where all that has been banished and buried is welcomed, spoken, listened to, and released. I will light a candle, pour a hot cup of tea, gather around the warmth of my own blazing fire. I will howl if I want to, or feel the need to, knowing this flame can burn through any perceived problem, any prescribed perfectionism, any lying limitation, every heavy thing. I'm making a home inside myself where grace blooms in grand and glorious abundance, a shelter of kindness that grows only the truest things. Your presence on this earth matters more than you know. You bring something no one else can, a unique voice, a very special light, a heart that has touched others in ways you may never see. You are needed and deeply important. The degree in which a person can grow is in direct proportion to the amount of truth they can accept about themselves without running away. Today I'm asking us all to find the courage to go back into our stories, your holy site, your sacred life. Look through the ruins and find your treasures and go deep into your roots. Find your inner truth, your inner peace. Find love for yourself as you are, wounds and holes and pains and all. It only matters what you tell yourself. So speak words of love to yourself every day. Start with today. I am worthy of a world that is willing to heal. I am so worthy. That does conclude what I wrote, but today I found some words from Marion Williamson in light of what I heard on the news. And so I thought I would just share those two if you don't mind. It's a little smaller writing, so I need my glasses. If you know what changes one heart, then you are the ones who know what will change the world. If you pray, please pray now. If you do ceremony, please do ceremony now. If you meditate, please organize meditations now. Whatever practice enables you to affect the ethers of the global mind, please use your powers now. You know who you are. It will not be enough to hate what Trump is doing. The power needed to achieve long-lasting victory will come from enough people falling in love with what America truly is. Thank you.
Thank you, Julie, for a wonderful message. And so now it's our time to do our tithes and offerings, and we are taught in the Course of Miracles, giving and receiving are one in truth. Every one of us benefits, and our community as a whole thrives because of your generosity. Thank you so much for your generous donations that support the work of the fellowship. And John will pass the basket around, and as the basket comes by, please hold your tithe or gift in consciousness as we sing together, I am grateful.
Grateful, I am grateful.
join me as we bless our offerings and affirm our abundance by reading together the blessing on the front of your bulletin. I better put on my different glasses. My tuning's challenged. The light of divine love shines eternally, blessing and multiplying our tithes and offerings. I joyously give, knowing I always have enough to share and to spare. Let's take a special moment to join together in prayer, remembering those that are listed on the connection cards here in this basket, and all others you wish to remember and hold in prayer. There are so many that have needs and worries and concerns. May our prayers flow through us to them, offering them healing, love, and light. Seeing them whole, happy, joyous, and free. We hold this vision for them and for ourselves, that they too may experience peace. Just a moment of silence as we reflect upon that. Thank you. And so now we're going to have a special song by Corey that he has written for us. And what's the title of it, Corey?
This is called Home. And I love that the word home is really just breathing home, home. And here's a new song that Spirit has inspired in me. It's really just, it means it's the first of 1,000 versions that you're going to hear of it. So the song is called Home. When I'm wandering in the world, lost in the grand illusion, I see the light unfurled, shining through all this confusion. And I remember I'm already home, holy and whole. No matter how far I seem to roam, I always find I was home all the time. When I'm struggling in fear, in life's separation, the truth of unity I hear. I am one with all creation, and I remember I'm already home, holy and whole. No matter how far I seem to roam, I always find matter when or where I seem to go, I always find I was home all the time. I always find I was home all the time. I always find I am home all the time. I am home. Yes, I am home. I am home. Home. Thank you so much.
Wow, that was really amazing. Thank you so much, Corey. Let's give him another hand. So I have some announcements before we close our service today. I guess we're still doing Death Cafe. It'll be this Saturday, 2 p.m. right here in this building, if you're interested. Yesterday we had a wonderful get-together at Sue Quinn's home doing a summer solstice. I hope that some of you were there. It was just really delightful. Thank you, Sue, for opening your home to us. Healing Movements, Mondays at 4 o'clock. We'll be here at the Red Cedar Friends Building, and Julie Dillon, I believe, does that. Cherry Yoga is being on hold for the summer, which was on Thursdays, but we're going to resume that in the fall. And then on July 6th, Reverend Sue Quinn in the back will be doing her walk at Voldemar, and that meets at 12:30. We meet in the parking lot if you're so inclined. Thank you, Corey and Julie, for a wonderful message, and Leroy for pitching in and helping us out today. Let's give them a hand. Thank you all for another great service, and all those here that are watching virtually, thank you for joining us. So, this is a time where we can assemble and do our peace circle together, and so let's go get into our circle and we'll close our service out. It'll be a small circle today.
Peace